The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. Here comes Harris out of the end zone. And the decision to bring it out, not a good one, as he's tackled at the 15. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. A strong showing their last time out. They scored the touchdown, but Charles, they look up and they're still down double digits, so you feel like just to keep pace, this drive. He's got a man, complete. And he'll be brought down on the other side of midfield at the 43.
When they've needed a play this year, he's certainly been the guy to deliver it. As this season has gone on, he's been awfully consistent and sometimes spectacular.
Rodgers now on first down. And completes it once more to Anderson. And the tackle going to be made at the 38. And he is the NFC rating offensive player of the week. You got to think, all the guys that take the field each and every week, that's not an easy award. Always has to feel good to grab.
It has to feel great because it separates you, at least for a week, amongst your peers. And for him to separate again, he has to have the same type of a game. That means being explosive off the line of scrimmage and catching everything that comes his way. I think he could have scanned downfield forever, but there wasn't anything available. Ends up throwing an incompletion, and I think he'll take that.
Now Rodgers. He's going to let this go. Back of the end zone. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up fourth down.
He certainly had a good game throwing the ball so far, but I think he was trying to take that from good to great with that throw, trying to get one downfield.
Rodgers going to go on fourth down. Quick hitter here. It's complete. And he is going to have a Packers first down as they manage to convert. And that'll keep the drive alive. Well, we kind of looked at each other as they decided to go for it. But in the end, great execution, a 6-yard gain, and it all works out. Now a first down carry for Harris. And he gets stopped up at the 31 after a gain of maybe a yard. Well done to sniff that out defensively. He had it diagnosed pretty quickly.
I love that description because diagnosed is perfect on that one. Read his keys, made the play, and he couldn't even get going moving the football.
And he'll be taken down at about the 22-yard line. The Packers on third down. They've only converted once in 4 tries. They're looking at third and a few inches. Here's Rodgers. Trying to get it to Anderson, but it's intercepted. And the Commanders are going to take over once again with a football at their own 20-yard line.
When a team's turned it over 3 times in the first half, we just look at the offense and say, guys, what are you doing? But instead, we really should be looking at the defense. They've created the takeaways. 2 interceptions, 1 caused fumble. They played awfully well swarming to the ball here in the first half.
Now here's a pass on first down that's knocked away and incomplete. After the incompletion, here's 2nd and 10 from the 20. A play fake, now Fields to throw. Slings this deep from McLaurin. Oh, into a sea of defenders and intercepted. Picked off by Darnell Savage. It's almost like you can see the look of frustration on his face. 4 interceptions last week. We talked about it all week. What did he do wrong? And another one here in the first half.
And you can understand the frustration. You actually feel his pain a little bit. But the worst thing he can do is what you're seeing right now, showing the other team that he's frustrated. All they're going to do is double their efforts to make him even more frustrated. He's got to gather himself, compose himself, and keep fighting.
Well, he talked a lot about erasing that loss last week, getting back in the win column. We'll see how he responds. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. As the offense comes out here, Charles, remember they threw the interception last time out, but they were moving the football down the field. Looked like they were going to have a sustained drive that ended in points, but then the pick ensued.
And because of that, there's no way you can call the last drive a success. Yes, there are things to build on because they found some play calls at work. Now, they've got to build another drive and find a way to avoid the turnover that plagued it on the last one.
A second down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
A couple of quick incompletions, and now they're just one more away from getting off the field. They've got options now. Could they dial up a blitz here or just drop everyone into coverage to crowd the throwing lanes?
The Packers on third down. Just 1 for 5 to this point. This is 3rd and 10. One back in the backfield. He'll get the carry. And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. They'll go for it. It's Rodgers. And he is going to have a Packers first down. And they convert in style right there. A big play on 4th and long. So not only do they convert on 4th, but they pick up 22 yards in the process. On first down, they'll go to the ground attack. And the running lane's non-existent in this first half as they'll stop him behind the line. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
I have a feeling they'll stay committed to running the football, especially on their early downs. They just haven't had a whole lot of success just yet.
On 2nd and 12, Rodgers. And Rodgers intercepted a 3rd time. Picked off by Cameron Curl. And the Commanders will have solid field position here as they take over at their 45-yard line. Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. They'll start following the interception in great field position at the 45. And throwing here to start the drive as they connect left side. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. Now a first down throw, Fields. And looking for McLaurin, but this is intercepted. And the Packers are going to have it here at their own 32-yard line.
Boy, that's the kind of interception that can save a game right there. They're already down 2 scores. Huge play, slowing down what was going against them.
I was thinking the same thing. You get down 3 scores there at this stage, could be in for a long ball game. Found a little room there as he's up to about the 37. The Packers going to use one of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5. To throw, it's Rodgers. He's going to air one out for Anderson. And for the 4th time tonight, it's an interception. Picked off by Eric Stokes. And the Commanders are going to have the football here at their own 18-yard line. The Washington offense at the line and ready to roll. Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. Going deep here for Watkins. And this will be caught at the 30. Now the offense going to use the first of their timeouts as they get it right at the 32nd mark of this first half. So that changes things in a big way. Now from all the way down inside the 30, here's 1st and 10. And this is going to be intercepted. Picked off by Jair Alexander. And the Packers are going to take possession here. It's a touchback, and they'll take over at the 20-yard line. Well, I'm not sure that the wheels, Charles, are coming completely off, but they're shaking a little bit. That's 3 interceptions, and now interceptions here on back-to-back drives.
And I think about what a Hall of Fame coach told me, that he always told his teams, when a mistake happens, just move on to the next play. Let it go. Hard to do when you've thrown this many interceptions. That's exactly the attitude that has to be adopted.
After the incompletion, here's 2nd and 10 from the 20. Rodgers going to throw. He's going to float this one deep right side. And my goodness, another interception. Wow, a big mistake there. Late interception in this first half, and that could lead to a field goal try the other way.
Yeah, I think at this point you just had to say, let's take a knee and go into half and regroup. Let's just talk it over a little bit. I wonder, partner, was the analytics coach in his head a little bit? Maybe go ahead and press it and try and get some points? While the old school coach probably would have said, take the knee, let's get out of here.
Now we could see points the other way here. And with just 1 second remaining in the first half, they'll call the timeout. So with 1 second left in the half, on is the field goal unit. And his kick is good. And that will do it for this first half. So we've reached halftime here in our nation's capital with the Commanders on top. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman ready with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. And we welcome you back now. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, getting set for quarter number 3 here. And how about this right out of the locker room? An onside kick attempt. Second half about to start. The Commanders have the lead. They'll get it first as we are back underway. A very interesting call and one that backfires. I know they're losing, Charles, but boy, to start the second half with the onside kick, risky.
Felt like a sense of urgency from their side, coupled with, you and I both know the special teams coordinators. They sell their key plays each and every week to the head coach, don't they? And I'll guarantee you he's been selling this one. We can get it, coach, we can get it. And that came together with that sense of urgency you talked about.
A throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. Not his best throw there, but where we sit right now in the third quarter, he's had a pretty good game throwing the football.
He certainly has, and it's not exactly at the point where we're doing 4-minute offense yet, but they've got to think about, I'm not going to say milking the clock, but understanding clock management here on out.
On second down, a run with Gibson. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. It'll go as a loss of a yard, so now they deal with 3rd and 11. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this third quarter. It looks like the Packers have added an extra DB on 3rd down. They'll fake the handoff. Now Fields. To the sideline. He's got the catch, and he kept the feet in bounds. Well done. He's now just 3 yards shy of 197 yards receiving on the contest, and a first down. Straight ahead, Gibson. Oh, he bowls over him. 11 more on that one, and another first down.
Well, partners, my old man used to say, make sure you strap up tight if you're going to try and stop one of those big horses out there. As you just saw there, this guy does not go down easily.
On first down, right back to Gibson. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. Second and right at a yard.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
And he's able to work it here to the 8-yard line. It's a 3-yard pickup, and that sets up 1st and goal. They'll run with Gibson. And he'll be stopped just outside the 5 at the 6. The 6-yard line, the line of scrimmage on 2nd and goal. Now Fields. To the end zone, but it's incomplete.
Well, you know me, whether you need it or not, I'm going to give a little unsolicited advice. Just throw it downfield out of the pocket only if you're absolutely sure. Otherwise, use your running ability and try and get those yards a safer way.
They'll try to run it with Gibson. 6 yards puts them right on the doorstep, but now it'll be 4th and goal. They snap it to Fields. Touchdown! Chase Claypool with his 13th touchdown of the year and 2nd of the game. As his guys are able to push that lead out a bit further. So they're able to capitalize there on the short field, and that might prove to be the score that turns out the lights.
The party's over. Oh, sorry about that. That's an old reference there, folks. But, yeah, they've been the better of the 2 teams by far, and that's great complimentary football right there. Defense gets the turnover, sets up the short field, and the offense goes right out and scores to open up a pretty sizable lead.
Washington kick team back out there now as they will send this one away. Here comes Harris out of the end zone. And the decision to bring it out, not a good one, as he's tackled it to 15.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
They try to throw on second down, but this one is incomplete.
I know conventional wisdom says, hey, don't get it all back in one play, but sometimes you go ahead and try to. They tried to get it all back on that one, weren't able to do so.
And now here's another interception. Picked off by Eric Stokes. And the Commanders are going to take possession of the football. Well, still down quite a bit here, several scores. But, yeah, at least that's a start, Charles, getting the interception here. And, look, we're still in the third quarter, so this thing not done yet.
You're right about that, Brandon. This defense, they haven't quit on this game. They stayed with it and got an interception and handed the ball back to their offense. And what you wonder about is the team that just threw that interception.
Fields hit and the ball is loose. And the Packers pick it up. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. A little careless with the football, and he also had a fumble loss last week, didn't he?
He certainly did, and when I'm watching him play, the one thing that comes to mind is always remember, traffic, turbulence, people around you, 2 hands. Get 2 hands on the ball. Grip it tight. I know it looks cool to have it.
And he loses the football a second time.
Wow, that ball gets... But a teammate comes along and scoops it up. It's almost like baseball. Guys at bat, people are on base in scoring position. One guy doesn't get him home. The next guy comes through and picks him up.
And avoids the turnover. On second down, this is Harris. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. This will be a loss of 3, and now a much tougher third down looming. We'll see what they have drawn up here. A little bit behind the line. 12 yards needed to gain a first down. He's going to loft one deep left side here. And my goodness, another interception. Picked off by Eric Stokes. Charles, whatever's going on between his ears right now, it's just not completely calculated correctly. 7 picks between last week and this week after that one.
And they always say the most important part of a player is those 6 inches between the ears. But right now, it's all those interceptions that are going on. So whoever his trusted confidant is on the sidelines, I don't know if it's the offense coordinator, the quarterback's coach, maybe the backup quarterback, that's who he needs to get with now and get himself calm.
On second down, here's Gibson again. And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
Most of their damage has been done through the air. I mean, they've rung the bell 3 times with passing touchdowns, but guess what? Ground game has not been neglected. Nice little burst right there.
On first down, Fields. That's complete. Terry McLaurin with it. And all the way inside the 15 before they drop it. 1 quarter remains here on a Sunday night. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. A give up the middle to Gibson. And he's brought down. 80 yards rushing for him here as he starts to draw closer to a 1,000-yard campaign. Gibson is into the end zone. Touchdown, Washington. So he had the nice run to get him down there. Was stopped just short of the goal line, but they go right back to him, CD, and he delivers to finish the drive off.
A little extra determination there, don't you think, partner? You notice he didn't tap on his helmet and say, get me out after the run down to the end zone. He said, I almost got in. I'm going to get in on my own. I'm staying in. And he carries it across the goal line.
Extra point right down the middle. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. Kick team out there for the Commanders as they send this one away. No return there for Harris, and the drive will begin at the 25. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And their mini two-game win streak appears it might be going by the wayside unless they can pull a rabbit out of their hat. They'll be dropped after a gain of about 6 across the 30 to the 31.
Well, they did throw interceptions on their last 2 drives, so no surprise at all they decided to start it with a running play. I'm actually a little bit surprised, though, that they got as much out of it as they did.
Yeah, decent little gain. Puts them in a pretty good spot for second down. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. Give him 18 on that play, and Green Bay has the first as well. They run again with Harris. And he's got it across the midfield stripe and into Washington territory. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4. Now Rodgers. And now here's another interception. Picked off by Isaiah Rodgers. And the Commanders are going to get the football here at their own 23. But with this advantage, this defense knew that passes were coming, and they stayed in position, Charles, and picked one off here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, what a way to cap things off, huh? Because I think this is part of the game within the game. They see the score.
This is caught inside the 15. And he's going to get this all the way down to the 2 before he's wrestled out. A huge play there for Washington. 74 yards. Well, that didn't take long. One play, and we're already looking at a 1st and goal situation. And he will take it in. Touchdown, Commanders. Antonio Gibson with now 15 rushing touchdowns on the year. And the Commanders look like they're going to get back in the win column as they extend their lead here this 4th quarter. Point after, right down the middle. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And we will not see a run back here from Harris. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. Where we stand right now in the 4th quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play to hopefully never be in this type of situation again.
Yeah, so they get that one, Charles, on the right tackle.
Yeah, oftentimes in that spot, you're trying to work against a defender, trying to set the edge in the running game, and you're trying to drive around and get your body twisted so that he can't get there. Sometimes your hands get...
Now look out, Rodgers lost the football. And it's Washington that scoops it up, and they will take over at the 26-yard line.
All right, you've had to put up with me in this booth. I'm going to try and be simple this time and succinct. it simply has not been their night.
No, I think that fumble's kind of indicative of how this whole evening's gone, isn't it?
Without a doubt. I mean, they've tried, but nothing has ever really taken throughout the game. That's why they're down so big.
Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Work to be done here on 2nd and 16 after the sack. Fields now to throw. He finds his man, complete. That's Burgess. And finally, down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. A good pickup there, 26 yards. Well, fans expect these primetime slots to deliver some of the best games each week. And, well, one team has certainly followed through with that tonight. Just an absolute clinic, Charles, on offense here. And this will be caught. And the carnage continues. It's another touchdown. Well, when coaches come into a game preaching total team effort, CD, I think this is the type of ball game that they're dreaming of. It was pretty apparent early on that they were clicking in all three phases. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, sometimes in the NFL you end up with matchups like we've been watching here. And when you go back through the early drives, you can just see that one squad was on a different level in this game. Safe to say, we have been disappointed in watching their execution throughout this contest.
Washington kick team back out there now as they will send this one away. No return there for Harris, and the drive will begin at the 25. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. Well, we said it at halftime that they would need a nearly perfect second half to erase that deficit that they were facing, CD. But unfortunately, the second half has pretty much been a carbon copy of the first.
Yeah, that early lead was almost insurmountable the way their opponent was playing. And, partner, they do have some good news, though. This one is getting close to being over, and they can try and hit the
And now the rookie's free. 30, the 20. And he's going to be shoved out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. 111 yards on the ground for him now as he has gotten better, really, as the night's gone on. A great run, but, you know, this is probably where the offensive coordinator is saying, geez, we could have used a couple of these earlier in the game.
Hey, he's probably telling the head coach, well, talk to the run game coordinator about that. I just called the plays. We should have had this going right from the beginning.
And he's across for the touchdown. Too little, too late, but he does get in for 6.
No wonder you're grinning. You just beat me in our fantasy league.
Indeed I did, my good man. Extra point splits the uprights as they make the score just a slight bit more respectable here in the final quarter of play. Here is Wisnowski to boot it away following the touchdown. And here comes a return from the middle of the end zone. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Costs him about 5 yards as he's tackled at the 20. Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. Well, they don't really need the points here, Charles, given what we're looking at on the scoreboard, but they've scored on 3 consecutive possessions, 3 consecutive drives, and I'm sure that they would like to keep that streak going here and continuing to pour it on.
And things have gotten that way in the NFL, haven't they, partner? Because in the old days, people would, they'd get off the gas a little bit, right? But now, people continue to accelerate. But we'll see what they decide to do as they come out for this one. But the way that this game has gone, they've got to be awfully happy with their execution overall.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Over the middle, complete. That's Fox. And he's able to get this one all the way past the 30. Now Washington going to use the second of their 3 timeouts. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. That one looks like he'll throw here. He's going to look deep for Watkins. And for the 4th time tonight, it's an interception. Picked off by Jair Alexander. And the Packers will take over possession here up at the 44. Yet another interception, and I just had to double-check my math. But it is now 8 between last week and this week.
Well, I just used a calculator. I didn't worry about double-checking it. But the thing that always throws me when you see quarterbacks in this type of a bad spot, they're trying to figure out what they can do to change it, and sometimes they try too hard, and they never get out of it. And
it's caught inside the 25. And he's going to be taken down. Plus, there's a penalty flag in the backfield. They may get 15 more on top of this. One final try now for Rodgers. And that will be incomplete. They were going for a consolation TD, but it was not to be. And time has run out now on this game. And as this defense walks off the field, they can do so with their heads held high. What a performance by the offense, too. I mean, really, Charles, just complete domination on both sides of the football here in this one.
Certainly was, and I think both sides compete against each other all the time. You go to each other in practice, obviously your training camps, your off-season. But on game day, you both want to show your best. And I think that's what we saw from both the offense and the defense, a complete team victory.
So for Washington, the win pushes their record now to 11-2 on the year. And they'll hit the road next week to take on the Chicago Bears. Meanwhile, for Green Bay, they can ill afford to drop too many more as they fall to 7-6 on the year. And they'll try again next week at home against Philadelphia.